that difference between a user and a consumer is a really important one, particularly in South Asia and Southeast Asia, because we see the first thing people do, and the most predominant thing people do, is to use platforms for price comparison, not for the actual purchase. So that's a really, really important point. It's a price revealing mechanism in a market. So the displayed price is a key thing. Lack of display of price until you go to the other steps is a real problem, for example.
In the design of the Digital Services Act, we try to kind of a little bit avoid a framing excessively focused on consumers, because a normal person is kind of, in the morning you check your news in the and then you check the way to the work, and then you use a platform to communicate with your kids who forgot their lunch boxes, like it happened this morning with my children. And then in the afternoon you buy some clothes because they have outgrown their clothes. So in a daily journey of a normal person, you act not only as a consumer in the traditional European sense of consumer protection, where you buy a good and you have certain rights relative to buying a good, but you actually, your user journey, you have many different personas, and some of them coincide with the traditional European definition of a consumer, but many of them don't. So we kind of prefer to speak, and this I think comes to the nexus that you were also outlining. We prefer to kind of speak about a user and not necessarily a consumer.
And I think there's a great some points in the chat and some great points that have been brought up about what the word consumer and what it means. And I'd just like to sort of pause there for 2 seconds. One, absolutely, there's sort of, that is both too narrow a way of thinking about things, and therefore we need to collaborate across. And yet it is such an important and rich part of the experience where some of these harms can happen. I also think, I have this feeling that we've allowed the word consumer to be defined as sort of infiltrated by consumerism, and it sort of lost this sense of citizen in the marketplace. Perhaps we can find an alternative term, but that is so rich, and as especially not just in the digital world, but in sustainable consumption, in the world of sustainability and meeting the climate crisis, our understanding of the rights and responsibilities of that person as they act in the marketplace, and how we complement that with other, our other actions as citizens, in different settings, deserves and needs greater thought, and absolutely means we have to cut across the silos that have been in place in the past.